Okay, Dornbusch download number 107, Andrew and Dan. It's been a while since either of you or I have done this, so have to sort of reintroduce ourselves.
Well, it's good to throw Brendan in the deep end, though.
He loves it. He's mad for it. He loves his Dornbusch downloads. Poor old Brendan. Very good, but he just doesn't really enjoy sort of the public speaking bit. No. So that's one of his KPIs, Brendan, and he's getting better.
More downloads, good word.
Yeah, so every couple of weeks we'll see Brendan and he will love it. Anyway, not pick on Brendan Day today. It's pick on Dan Day. No, it's
defend himself, so we may as well.
We gave him holidays. We thought, and he does work really hard. So yes. Hope you're having a great week, Brendan. We thought we might sort of talk about a couple of key areas this week, Dan. You're sort of very big in that sort of biotech health space, in particular as emerging leaders.
It's really interesting, Andrew, isn't it? You know, I was reading an article and the gent was basically saying that he believes that will be the next sort of tech type run.
Makes sense.
We saw that with tech, gas, you know.
Makes sense. So is there a couple that are sort of catching your eye in that space?
Yeah, there is a couple. ResApp's certainly one.
And what's the code on that one?
RAP is the code. Rapper, yeah. And it's a really simple thing, you know, cough into your phone and it'll tell you what your respiratory problem is.
That's it.
Yeah. Where they're going to win, though, there's a huge amount of telephone consultations or medical consultations done by the telephone in the US, and 30% I think of those are for respiratory problems, and at the moment I suppose the doc's just saying give us a cough and let's see how it sounds.
Interesting you should say that. I'm on school holiday duty, so I'm working part-time, and I was watching an ad on TV and it was Telstra and they have a product called Ready Access where you actually ring up and it's like a Skype thing, and Telstra employ GPs that support your GP and they can do prescriptions and give feedback to your GP afterwards. So it's interesting that you were saying that
HCF are doing it now.
That big push towards telemedicine, and this to me just seems another natural extension of that. So 30% of those type of things are respiratory.
So they reckon, So cough into your phone, you know, shoot off the prescription to the drugstore, I suppose, and here's your 3 days.
And didn't you say the accuracy is quite high in that too?
Accuracy is really high. On the last round of adult ones, I think for pneumonia, the accuracy was close to 100%. They're currently running studies through a big US hospital, and hopefully once that's done, then they can get FDA approval, and then I think it'll be off and running.
Because the share price, because you spoke about this one probably 12 months ago, and the share price then was somewhere around 16, 20 cents. You spoke about it again when it was about 30 cents. It's now
46 got to
cents.
50 this morning. So
it's getting some momentum, but you know, you're quite right that the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, I mean, that's the key swinger. You know, if they sign on the dotted line,
it's off and running.
If they don't,
and that's just the States, Andrew. Then you know there's Europe and Asia with all the people that smoke up in China, etc. And just all the smog and pollution.
So RAP, and what's the other one that you're looking at?
The other one I've been looking at is innate immunotherapies with code IIL.
Could you spell that for everyone, please?
No. Innate.
No, the second one.
Just hold that.
No, so IIL is the code?
IIL is the code, yeah. Apparently with multiple sclerosis there's a couple of stages. And in the first stage of multiple sclerosis there's half a dozen drugs in there that are designed to extend the time frame between attacks, if that's what you call it.
Episodes,
yeah. But in that second stage there's no drugs in there at the moment, and innate immunotherapies is in there, trying to develop a drug. The beauty about what they're doing is the New Zealanders have a compassionate rule, so they're actually putting drugs into humans rather than animals at the moment. And if you get on their website and have a look, you can actually watch a couple of Kiwis talking and just telling them how profoundly it's affected their lives. So,
okay, and what's the price on that one? That's about 40...
Yeah, 40, about the same, I think.
I'm trying to buy some at 47, Andrew the Miserable. I think they're about 48 and a half.
48 and a half, yeah.
Okay, and again...
But he's come out and unashamedly... the directors, when they're presenting, have come out and said, we're going to sell this company.
Because you and I were talking about it yesterday, and you were saying that sort of the peers in the US are selling for billions of dollars.
6 billion, 7 billion, amazing money. So that's one to buy and forget about, basically. But the caveat there is you've got to have a stop loss with these smaller companies, don't you? So
there's no income.
There's no income, no nothing. And if something all goes wrong, it's gone.
Well, we saw that with, was it ACX?
8 crux. Or,
Yeah, they literally halved.
Yeah.
Because one of the major supporters of the business sort of pulled back. So that's
Well, we saw it with Certex too, didn't we? And they were probably reading the results wrong, or the media was taking it wrong. They halved. So
yeah. So if you're playing in this biotech space,
very volatile.
Very volatile, and we're not talking, I was going to say BHP. BHP's got a bit of a tarnished record. Wesfarmers, it's probably one of the few blue chips that's going okay at the moment. We're not getting a dividend stream, and if for all of a sudden there's some bad news out there, they are going to get walloped. Yeah. So you don't put a heap of money into it. But like you're saying, from a growth point of view, RAP, around that sort of telemedicine, for the want of a better term, and IIL, around MS, some interesting ones there.
I think with RAP, I was reading that every time they give a diagnosis, they're going to click the ticket for $10. So imagine that, just could be unbelievable. And when you look at, Cochlear, what are they at? 130 odd bucks. 140 whatever millions of net earnings before interest, tax and depreciation. It's potential to make some really good money.
But it's interesting, in Australia, we've got such a small biotech space, and you talk about IIL, the exit strategy is likely someone just buying them.
Yes.
Sadly, you talk about Cochlear and CSL are probably our two main success stories, to a lesser degree, say ResMed.
Yeah, ResMed, yeah.
But otherwise, I think sadly at this stage, and for the industry, it's going to be not so much that they'll turn into big businesses. I'd say some overseas company, be it US or Israeli or whoever's strong in that biotech space, it is going to come and gobble them up.
Yep.
Sad indictment on the industry.
I think the ones too to look for are the computer-based ones as well, Andrew. That technology just keeps growing and growing, and with ResApp, every time someone coughs into it, it's learning. You know? There's another little one that films your face to give them a baseline. I think these guys are suspended at the moment, but then as you sink further into dementia, you can film your face again, and it'll tell you whether you need medication for pain. And every time it does that, it's learning. So
and it's interesting that we know about all these. I mean, we subscribe to a couple of things, but a lot of the stuff that you learn about this, and again, ResApp at 16 cents, is because you're going off to these conferences and you're talking to the management and you're getting a good understanding of these businesses.
Gives you a good idea of which direction things are going, especially too in the mining sector.
Yeah. So I'd encourage you, in particular, sort of that smaller space, Dan, and to a lesser degree me. Again, I tend to play more in the industrial space, but Dan does have an interest in that biotech sort of smaller miner space. Keep in touch with Dan because, as I said, he's going off, he's talking to the management. I think we've spoken enough for this week, so till next week. Thank you.